Welcome to the JJ Virgin Lifestyle Show with celebrity nutrition expert, fitness Hall of Famer, and 4-time New York Times bestselling author, JJ Virgin. JJ is a warrior mom whose knowledge and expertise have helped change hundreds of thousands of lives with over 3.5 million podcast downloads and appearances on Dr. Phil, Dr. Oz, The Today Show, Rachel Ray, Larry King Live.
Whoa. This show is about you, not about me. I want to help you find practical, real-world ways to dial in your health and mindset so you can finally lose that weight and feel strong and energized. Stop settling for less than your personal best. It's time to find out how to look and feel better than ever. And I'll be right here with you the whole way. Hey, it's JJ with a super exciting guest today. For those of you who love recipes, which I know is like everybody, I've got my buddy, New York Times bestselling author, Leanne Ely. Not only is she a New York Times bestselling author, but she is an author of 10 published books. And the reality is, when we really look at it, because she created the very first menu planning website, Saving Dinner, and has been doing recipes ever since. She is probably one of the most prolific recipe writers on the planet, and you're going to be getting some of her awesome faves today. I'm going to give you that right now, just so you make sure you get it. If you go to jjvirgin.com/hot melt, and we'll explain why that name hot melt is being used, because it's kind of fun. You will be getting this. And Leanne, I will tell you, I met Leanne because she literally pinged me on Twitter. She tweeted at me and she was like, "Hey, I've got some recipes. You're writing diet programs. Let's talk." So we hooked up and literally we got to be buddies online. And then I was going to North Carolina where she lived at the time. So I went and stayed at her house. I mean, how crazy is this? And she cooked. It was amazing. We did a bunch of fun videos and the rest is history. So I'm really excited to finally have my buddy Leanne Ely on the show with me today. All right, Leanne Ely, about darn time you got on this show.
Well, thanks for inviting me. Finally.
What's a girl got to do to get like one of her oldest pals on her podcast? Jeez. Anyway, it will be well worth it for all of you wondering the same question as me, because Leanne has been up to some fun stuff in the kitchen. Hopefully you've been over checking out her Facebook when she does some of her cooking. Some of that looks a little wine-induced. Some of it.
All wine-induced,
some of it.
girl. Yeah.
I was like going, you should be like the wine, cooking with wine.
And sometimes I put it in food.
So you've been all over the place. And I kind of want to start back, kind of rewind, because, when I first met you, and you literally, for everybody listening, I met Leanne because she tweeted at me.
Yeah.
And kind of were like going, wow, I've got a program. You've got recipes. Let's get it all together. But you've been cooking and doing amazing recipes for, how long, my friend?
Well, my very, 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 very first book with a publisher who will stay unnamed at this point was in 2000. So that was my very first cookbook. And then, I've done 10 of them. So there's been a few.
10 of them. And you've done 10 cookbooks, but you've got, I don't know how many recipes because of your, recipe, meal service and all that stuff. You just have so much stuff out there. It's crazy. So prolific recipe queen is who we have here now with Leanne Ely, right? I mean, it's true. And what's interesting is you keep reinventing yourself, which is what makes it even cooler.
Yeah, me and Madonna.
Yes, there you go.
It's our 18th year, believe it or not. January was the 18th, beginning of our 18th year at Saving Dinner. So it has been quite a journey.
Very fun. So let's talk about, because, when you first started cooking, I'm assuming it's always been healthy cooking, right?
Pretty much. I mean, not back when I first learned how to cook professionally was in the 80s. And of course, it was with French chefs, and, that was kind of a whole different thing, although that's kind of made a comeback, but a little bit of a difference there, of course. But yes, I reinvented it to be healthy right after I started having children.
Yes. So she's been doing healthy cooking forever now. I remember way back when. Remember when healthy cooking was cooking light? And like, oh my gosh, thank God it's not there anymore. Now, your latest thing, because you started stepping into this with your part-time paleo, and now you've gone into kind of a new spin on keto. And I love the name of this. It's like so cool, this hot melt.
Yeah.
Like, first of all, how did this all come to be? Was it just like one night having some wine and this brilliance downloaded, or what happened?
Yeah, exactly. There's always wine involved.
I know you too well. So
yeah, well, we've tipped a glass or two together, or five.
Yes. So let's, I want to learn how this happened, and then we're going to share with everybody this. And just for everybody listening, by the way, you're going to get your hands on some awesome recipes, and I'm going to tell you, you can get them, or I'll tell right now the link. It's jjvirgin.com/hot melt. So you'll be able to get recipes. So as you're listening to this going, I want those recipes, you're getting them. Don't worry. So let's back it up and say, all right, how did you figure out this whole hot melt thing? How'd the hot melt not become a hot mess? or maybe it is.
Well, let me just say, I thought keto just generally by itself, and if you go onto Pinterest, you can understand what I'm talking about. But if you go to Pinterest and look for keto recipes, you see all kinds of nightmares in there. And it's just what really drove me nuts is there was not enough nutrients in there. And that is always the basis of how I create a recipe. Is it nutrient rich? So what happened was I just got a lot of customer service questions like, is a keto diet safe? Is a keto diet healthy? Can I do this? And so I started, of course, just like anybody else, I started doing the research on it and was really amazed at how long the keto diet's been around and how much it has influenced different.
Can we talk about that? Because someone did just posted that, and I remember when they called the Virgin diet a fad, and I'm like, it's an elimination diet. They've been around for decades.
Right.
Keto diets has been around for thousands of years. So the idea that this is a fad is like calling paleo a fad. No, this was how we ate 5,000 years ago. I mean, it's just, I hear these things, I'm like, I can't, my head spins and then falls off. So this is not a fad for everybody listening. I mean, we'll take any diet and make it a fad application, but Julius Caesar actually used keto to control a seizure. So not a fad.
Right, not a fad. And when it really got grabbed medical community's attention was back in the 1920s, if you can believe that. And there was a doctor who came out with this showing the connection between, just like Julius Caesar, epilepsy and having a very high fat diet. So it's evolved a lot since then. And they've noticed that it really helps with diabetes type 2. It helps with PCOS, and it helps with all kinds of hormones.
Brain injuries
galore. Yeah. I mean,
yes,
obviously, you know this. You know this from personal experience. So a keto diet in and of itself is something that a lot of practitioners kind of take issue with. They say, don't do it forever, do it seasonally. There's not a lot of research out there, at least what I have found, that says doing keto 100% all the time is a good thing. But I sort of part ways a little bit with the traditional keto diet. And what I look at instead is, do you have the fat balanced in your diet for what it is that you're trying to do and for what works for you? Because as you know, it's all extraordinarily individual. It's never one size fits all. So I look at it from the perspective of, for example, I've got one lady that's in one of my groups who it just didn't work for her at all. She felt crappy on it, and she did all kinds of things up and down, and it was just her particular body type it did not work for. I had another woman who just absolutely, and this is why I called it hot melt, because she was just hot melting like butter on a stove, man. This woman was just shedding it. Now, she had more weight to lose than this other lady. And she was in a different place hormonally. She had all the different things going on. And of course, you know how it is. You're not a doctor and you can't say, oh, well, this is going to work for you and this is not. But there's a genuinely, I think there's a plumb line for everyone. And that is making sure that you have enough fat in your diet. And it's not so much about the ketones as it is about being in a fat burning zone.
Yeah. And here's what people need to understand too. They feel like you have to be in ketosis, extreme low carbohydrate, to produce ketones. No. Not true. So I think what you're saying here, and I've been really looking at this lately, because here's the thing. All diets actually work. in some way. I just went and did this Dr. Oz segment, and our buddy, Dr. Alan Christensen, as I was flying to do it, because it was on potatoes, said, have you read the potato hack diet? And literally, here's a diet where all you eat are potatoes. Okay. Then we've got, juice cleanses, we've got fasting, we've got keto diets, but they all actually work for a period of time. And so, what you can do with these things is go, okay, I'm going to go intensive, use this therapeutically based on my genes and my lifestyle, my, what's going on with my health at the time and what my goals are, and then see where I want to stay, which it sounds like is what you've really created here is, test how you feel best and then create it so that you've got good optimal fat, which we all feel better on. I'm sorry. No one ever has told me, I took the fat really down low in my diet and I feel awesome.
Yeah, exactly.
And it tastes so good too,
When I was getting my certification way back in the 90s, that's what I was taught. So it was when I was first started creating my recipes, it was all low fat, non-fat, this.
Right. Oh my God. I was down to 10 grams of fat a day.
Oh, me too.
And not very nice either.
And my hair was straw. And
acne, all that non-fat milk crap.
No.
We're still recovering from that. It still makes me angry. All those missed, terrible, fat-free pasta meals. Guck.
Oh.
Okay. So here we are. Now we've got hot milk.
Yeah.
So let's talk about just benefits to keto diet in the first place, or just benefits to lowering your carbs and increasing your fat in the first place.
Well, I mean, you already hinted to the part about the brain. And I think this is one of the things. I just had a conversation with a mutual friend of ours, as a matter of fact, who has switched to a keto diet simply because he did his gene test and found there was one marker for an increased risk of Alzheimer's. And so nobody wants to hear that, right? But what we understand from ketogenic diets is that it increases brain mitochondrial biogenesis, meaning that you can produce entirely new mitochondria. And then, of course, we know that each and every cell in our body has the mitochondria, which is like the engine, the energy source for each cell. When that's improved, when you improve your energy metabolism, that's one of the reasons why keto so good for any kind of a brain thing, whether you're healing your brain from any kind of brain disorder. They're showing it even for bipolar. They're showing it for Alzheimer's, epilepsy, all kinds of things. And of course, also add on to that, it's the messenger. Your messenger system is your hormone system in your body. And it completely greases the apparatus for that. So those hormones can communicate with your body parts. It's really a fascinating study.
So
that's my biggest thing.
All right. So you created this thing, and what is this thing? What's that? First of all, best name ever, but what exactly is the hot melt diet?
So the hot melt diet is
because I got to tell you, it sounds like some cheese melted on a piece of bread, and I'm sure it's not that.
There is no dairy.
I just am pretty darn sure. I was going, I'm pretty sure. Doesn't it sound like a hot melt sandwich? Well, right? I'm sure it's not that. It couldn't be that. You didn't turn the leaf over like that.
Well, you've known me for how many years now? And you remember when I was really struggling with rosacea. So I'm not a big dairy fan. Dairy is usually not our friend, and even if people can tolerate dairy, it's still inflammatory. So this is anti-inflammatory, and it's very nutrient rich. That's the biggest part of the puzzle for me, is getting those nutrients up. And then we just start jacking up the fat a little bit. We're adding lots of avocado. We're adding some ghee. We are not shy on sauteing those vegetables in a little ghee. They taste delicious, and you're going to
thank God, because who wants steamed vegetables? That's not yummy.
No, it's really not.
It's not yummy. No, that's not yummy.
So that's kind of the basis for it. And it's knocking back maybe the protein by an ounce or two. But again, what I do is I always say you have to test and figure out where your protein needs are, because we are all different. And if you already know where that is and you knock it back maybe an ounce, and then you increase your fat up just maybe another tablespoon or even two during a meal, you can see if this particular combination is working for you. And what the other big thing that where I part ways with the keto diet is, If you have ever done your research on this, it'll make you insane by looking at what people live and die by the pee sticks. They're peeing all over their hands. You just know they are. Trying to get a pee stick to see if they're in ketosis or not. They're buying expensive blood meters and sticking their fingers to see if they're in ketosis or not. They're calculating macros. And at the end of the day, you look at that, and you and I both know this. How long have we been nutritionists, right?
Ever.
You cannot sustain that. No.
Also, you're looking at a snapshot of a moment in time. You could be in ketosis 1 minute and out the next, and that's actually not the point. It's really not looking at this single moment in time going, am I there?
No, exactly. That is such, people obsess over this, and they think that this is going to be like the golden ticket to weight loss. And it's not, because again, it's back to that whole thing where you might be in ketosis when you wake up in the morning, but at the end of the day, you're not. But what you can be is in a fat burning zone versus somebody who's constantly using their glycogen as fuel. So it's a shift is what it is.
Yeah, and here's the thing. You could eat a super high fat diet and really chow down on that, which is hard to do because it's filling, but you still could and be in ketosis and not lose weight. So,
totally.
It's one piece of the therapeutic puzzle, and there's times when this will work well for you. And that's why I like you having the zone piece of it, because people will need to be in varied amounts of carbohydrates depending on what's going on with them.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
All right. So what else? So I love everything I'm hearing, that it's not this, because what I find with most people in diets, and this makes me crazy, I'd like to put everybody in a room, because my whole takeaway is they all work, people. They all work, and let's all just get along. Could we all be friends? But you put people in a room, you put a ketogenic diet person in a room and a paleo person and then a vegan, and it's just like, it's going to get bloody. And it's like, I go, well, what if we just had a couple lentils? What would happen? Would we be okay? We'd survive, So walk us through the process of this hot melt diet and how it works.
So the way it works is we like to start everybody off with a nice, yummy smoothie in the morning. That works really well. Everybody likes them. We're used to doing them. We know that it's one of the ways to go. And we just start slipping some avocado in there, might put a little MCT oil in there, and something that usually maybe was never in there before, but it puts some fat in there. What I found personally is that when I have a smoothie with a little avocado in there and maybe, a handful of some power greens or whatever, but I make a green smoothie in the morning with matcha tea and protein, fiber, the whole 9 yards. And then I add these green elements to it. I can go 6 hours without eating. That's a long time. And we also like to put into this some intermittent fasting. And women need to do it differently than men too. And you know this because
yes, women don't skip breakfast well.
No, they don't. And
they don't. They can skip dinner,
sure,
but not breakfast. I remember I was doing a talk at Bulletproof Conference, and I got like bombarded by all these women who were like, we can't skip breakfast. I'm like, I know. And, it was like, skip dinner, just eat breakfast a little later, or have dinner earlier, or skip that. Don't skip breakfast.
It's just, so my recommendation on this, and it is in the hot melt, is to do it every other day and for 18 hours. So you can do, it's super easy, early dinner and a little bit later of a breakfast, and you're there. It's not hard.
It is. It's very, especially on the weekends. Oh my gosh. It's
totally.
Like, sleep in.
Yeah.
There you go. It's so simple. Okay. That makes sense. Total sense. So any other key tips and tricks that you have up your sleeves that you want to share with this?
Well, again, I keep going back to this whole thing of understanding. It's like what you said is like, we could have this bloodbath of everybody saying, no, it's this and no, it's that. Or we could just drop back a minute and just say, oh, okay, cool. That works for you. Let me find what works for me. And one of the things that I wrote this itty bitty small ebook called How to Be Your Own Nutritional Guru, because I think at the end of the day, what happens is that we're always looking for somebody to tell us what we're supposed to feel, how it's supposed to work for us, and therefore it is. And it's not that way. It is not that hard cast. There are certain principles involved. Of course, we're always going to be eating nutrient-rich food. We're always going to be drinking a lot of water because we know that helps with everything that we're trying to accomplish. We're always going to be going with some clean protein. We're always going to be looking for a lot of fiber as well in our diets, right? So you put that all together and then you just figure out what ratios work well for you. And that's where we can then honor everybody's diet. And that's where we can always also pull it in and see, hey, this isn't exactly working for me. Well, JJ Virgin said, or Leanne Ely said, and so
it's like, pay attention to your body. It doesn't matter what all of us said. It matters how you feel.
Bingo. That's my biggest takeaway. And that if I could get everybody on this planet to understand that, I think, I don't think we'd have the obesity crisis that we have. And I don't think we'd have people being so confused and bopping around from thing to thing. They'd find the thing that works for them and they dial it in according to what their body needs.
Yeah, find your thing. I mean, the biggest thing that really my through line in my business is that, you've got to be your own personal health detective. You're going on your journey. Mm-hmm. You need to connect the dots between what you're eating and how you feel. It doesn't matter if someone else tells you that kale is going to be amazing for you if kale makes you feel crappy.
Exactly.
So, right? I mean, and I think as we learn more and more and more about our genes, about our microbiome, we'll realize, oh, well, there's a reason I can't eat spinach or whatever this thing is that makes you feel crappy, or you just can't stand the taste of, right? I know I'm a super taster. So really bitter stuff like broccoli rabe, broccolini, they're just like, I'm like George Bush with those things, I just can't take it. So, so don't just because it's good for someone doesn't mean it's good for everybody. It's super important that we get that. So I love that you're out there pushing that message out to the world. Now you have recipes that you are going to be gifting everybody. Tempt us with a couple of those yummy ones.
Well, one is my basis for everything, which is the Mighty Mitochondria Soup. We were just talking about the mitochondria. This soup has every vegetable in it but the kitchen sink, and lots of bone broth. And it's quite delicious. People love this soup. It's been shared all over the place. It's one of our most pinned things on Pinterest. And I'm giving that soup recipe out because that soup recipe is super easy to make into a keto type of a bowl of soup just by adding some lean protein and maybe even adding a little bit of stirring some ghee in there, or some pea stew, pea stew is like a pesto without the cheese, and it's delicious and it makes the whole thing taste wonderful. So you would like this. You would like this. I just had this for lunch.
I just want you to make it for me is the thing.
All you have to do is come out here and I will. I cook for everybody. You know that. So
yeah, well, there's that.
Just that small detail. And then there's a salmon recipe in there, I believe, as well. And that salmon recipe is one of my favorites. And it's on a bed of cauli rice. And actually, I do a cauli risotto that tastes a lot like what you would experience, like a mushroom risotto, but without the cheese. And then on top of that is some salmon, and there's some avocado involved and some other things. And then the other one, I don't know. I don't remember. I just told you.
And there's a surprise. No, just say it's a surprise. It's just a surprise. That's what we get. It's a surprise. So again, I'm going to put all of those at jjvirgin.com/hot melt. They are my favorite price, free. So again, I like to pull out every single excuse anyone could ever have for why they can't be healthy, because we put so much information out. You do, I do, so many of us, that is so easily accessible. And so it's really just the big thing now is to get the recipes and take action. That's it. That's your part as the listener. All right. So again, it's jjvirgin.com/hot melt. And Leanne, thank you so much for being on with me today. Awesome, awesome time. It's really pathetic that this is what I have to do to get some time with you, but whatever I have to do.
It works that way sometimes.
It just does, doesn't it? All righty. So thank you. I appreciate you.
I appreciate you back.
All right. Now, after the break, I'm going to be answering a listener's question. So stay with me.
Fact. The true cause of weight gain is not calories. It's food intolerance. A negative reaction to certain foods, even foods you thought were healthy, can lead to a variety of symptoms, including weight gain, acne, bloating, and lack of energy. The solution is simple. Avoid the foods your body doesn't tolerate. But which foods? That's the secret JJ reveals in her book, The Virgin Diet. Drop 7 foods, lose 7 pounds, just 7 days. Discover the sneaky 7 foods by visiting jjvirgin.com/books and be on your way to losing 7 pounds in 7 days.
Welcome back. This is the time where I answer a listener's question, and today's question comes off of Instagram. Now, I jump on Instagram, do Instagram lives at jj.virgin. I jump on Facebook and do Facebook lives, JJ Virgin Official. Plus, we post all sorts of cool content there and on my YouTube channel and on Pinterest. So, we are out there with cool stuff. I want to make sure that you're taking advantage of it. Along with this podcast is just a start. So I'm always looking for questions as I'm on chatting away with people, and it's really fun to engage with everybody there. So I appreciate you being there and being here. And so this question came up from Sarah, who said, you've got all these great recipes, you're sharing all this food, and I just trying to figure out how to do all this. I just don't have the time. What do you have for great tips for cooking when you're time pressed? All right, so I will share with you that last night I had Dr. Tom O'Brien, Dr. Lauren O'Neill, Lauren Noel, Krista Recchio, Evan Lambrecht, Tom Arts, all over for dinner. I worked all day. I was doing Facebook Lives with Tom Arts till 6. We had crab claws with grass-fed butter. That meant all I had to do was defrost those. We had lamb lollipops with rosemary. All we had to do was put some rosemary on lamb and have Tim barbecue it. We had asparagus tips with lemon zest and macadamia nut oil and slivered almonds, because I didn't have any macadamia nuts, a little lemon juice. And that took a minute, right? Because all I did was lightly steam and then saute. And then we did some roasted teeny potatoes with rosemary. And honestly, the prep on all that stuff was under 15 minutes. And threw the potatoes in the oven, steamed and sauteed the asparagus. Tim did the lamb. That was it. And that's really, and they were like, oh my gosh, this is so amazing. I can't believe we're getting to eat all this. And Tim and I are kind of looking at each other going, do we tell them we actually eat like this every single night? But we have it really, really dialed as to how to, we've got a bunch of clean protein in our freezer. So we get pastured chicken, pastured pork, grass-fed beef. We have these amazing lamb lollipops, wild salmon. So I've been getting my salmon and my seafood from Vital Choice. I'm actually going to be trying out some new meat over from Thrive Market, because my buddy Gunnar just launched this new meat, and so I want to try it. And so I always keep that. In the other freezer, I have cauliflower rice. I have peppers and onions. I have mushrooms. So I have a bunch of frozen vegetables too. So I always have things in case I just came home from out of town. And then in the pantry, I have a bunch of stuff stocked up as well. All sorts of great oils, wild rice, legumes. And what I make sure I have to get every week fresh are, obviously vegetables. And I don't use fresh fruit. I only do frozen berries and cherries. So fruit's not really an issue either. And some avocados, although most of my avocados are frozen so that I can throw them in my smoothies. So that's it. So really it's like getting vegetables delivered once or twice a week, or running by the store on my way home from the gym. And then dinner's as simple as picking which protein, making extra so you have it the next day for lunch. And that's batch cooking is everything. Or making extra so we can throw it into a stir fry or a soup or a sauce the next day, right? So that makes it super easy and simple. Like we did a big grass-fed rib roast, and then we had stuff for a couple days that we could put into salads, sautés, soups, and sauces. And then we just pick out which vegetable we're going to do and which type of starchy carb, and away we go. Add some healthy fat. So literally, we make these type of dinners every night. They're 15 minutes. And we save money because we're not out. so much cheaper. We have better food. We're not going to get hit by, things I'm intolerant to, because whenever I'm out, I'm always carrying my safety net with me because I never trust. And it's really that simple. So what I really liked about that question was you're trying to figure out how to do it. And it's really about just getting used to it. And it's really comes down to, it's all about stocking up. And so I'm going to make a little bonus in this podcast episode we will include my shopping lists in here too. So you'll see how easy it is to stock up correctly. So you'll be able to grab those in the jjvirgin.com/hotmelt link. You'll be able to get all the show notes. You'll be able to get the link to Leanne's awesome recipes. And you will also be able to get my pantry and freezer and fridge stocking. So we make it easy on you. All right. Now, I wanted to do a shout out to Simply Carrie, because Simply Carrie left us a 5-star review, says, "Thank you, JJ and team, you are all rock stars. Thank you for sharing your life-changing message about health and nutrition. This information has empowered me over the last few years to change my life. Thank you." And I just love that so much. You have no idea. We love reading these reviews, and I love doing shout outs, and I'd love to shout out for you. So if you have not done a review yet, it would make me so darn happy, and I'd so appreciate it if you would leave a review. And of course, while you're over there on iTunes, be sure to subscribe and share it with your friends. All right, I want to get this message out to the world. I'm on my mission to help 1 billion people get healthy. Obviously, I can't accomplish that by myself. All right, thank you, and I will see you next week.
That's all for this episode of the JJ Virgin Lifestyle Show, which marks another step towards a healthier body and mind. Don't forget to rate, review, and subscribe to the show, and we'll talk to you next week.